Hello friends, I am your host Mr. Gaurav. Welcome to my channel Vedic Astrology Guru. On this channel, I will be telling you about Indian Vedic Astrology, its deepest secrets and a lot of advanced techniques. So to keep yourself updated with the latest content, kindly subscribe to my channel. And if you have any queries, any doubts, you can always mail me at vedicastrologyguru7@gmail.com. And yes, your special comments are always welcome. Kindly leave one of those down below in the comment section. So let's start to do some interesting videos about Vedic astrology. Hello friends, welcome to the fourth wave of Judgement of Houses in a Horoscope. Well, in this wave, I would be just telling you what happens when Lord of Ascendant is placed in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th houses of a horoscope. So I'll start with the 7th house first. Well, if the Ascendant Lord is placed in the 7th house, now this is a Kala Purusha chart. This is a primordial chart taken from the Aries Ascendant. Now Ascendant could be any of the other zodiac signs. This placement, the effects of this placement will be applicable to all other ascendants as well. But you have to see if there is affliction over the Ascendant Lord, if there is affliction over the house, if malefics are aspecting the house, malefics are posited with the Ascendant Lord, then definitely good results of the Ascendant Lord will be suppressed. So what happens when, so this is a hypothetical ascendant and this could be any of the other zodiac signs, but the ascendant will always remain fixed. So what happens when the AL Ascendant Lord is in the 7th house? Now because it also aspects the ascendant himself, the native will be of a good looking person. He will have a very pleasant personality. He would be having an effective personality. But because the Ascendant Lord is placed in the 7th house and our 7th house represents our sexual relationships, our husband for a female and wife for a male, and business partners. So these three things will be revolving a lot around in native's life. So native would be, so basically native would have a business partner. If he is in job, then definitely a lot of colleagues will be around him. And native will always be engrossed into his wife or his life partner. Native usually is focused more towards the life partner, more towards the interpersonal relationships in his own family. So native has a lot of focus here over his family if Ascendant Lord is in the 7th house. So native is always eager to do some, he will always think about doing something by himself. Even if he's in a job, he'll think of becoming a freelancer, he'll try to get into a profession, or otherwise usually a native tends to do some sort of business with a partner. So there can be a possibility that he might get into a business along with a business partner. He may try to find a business partner. So these are the general effects in the 7th house. What happens when the Ascendant Lord goes to the 8th house? Now the 8th house is one of the evil houses I have discussed in the category of houses in one of my previous videos. So make sure you go through that video. So 8th house is an evil house, it is a bad house, it is a trick house. The 8th house represents your grief, it represents hidden treasures, it represents your death, your longevity, it represents unforeseen troubles, it represents hidden treasures, basically your parental property. So when the Ascendant Lord goes to the 8th house and if there is affliction on the Ascendant Lord, then usually native becomes very aggressive. The native is a miser. because this is a house of secrets. So native has a tendency of keeping a lot of secrets within himself. So there can be, a native will face a lot of troubles in his life. There will be lack of happiness because this is the house of sorrows. So there will be an overall lack of happiness if there is some sort of affliction over this house. And native may also benefit from, at times in his life, he may benefit from sudden profits, from sudden financial profits. He may win some sort of lottery, he may get some money from a relative who just passed away. So a sudden profits, hidden profits, which we usually do not tend to see in our life. So 8th house is a house of sorrows. So basically the person's nature becomes more, the life is not so great, the quality of life is not so happy, and basically he feels, and yes, because this is a secret house, he becomes miserly, and because this also represents your occult sciences. So at times native himself may get involved into occult practices, or he may approach people who know occult sciences. So these are the general effects of the Ascendant Lord placed in 8th house. So now we'll get to the 9th house. Now what happens when Ascendant Lord is placed in the 9th house? Now 9th house is your most powerful trine house. This is the most benefic trine, as I have mentioned earlier, in the category of houses. Now this house represents your fortune, this house represents your religion, this house represents your guru, so this house represents your good luck in life. So the native will be, this house is making the Ascendant Lord really very strong. So native will have a very effective personality. He may be, he might be good looking in case he is not good looking, but his overall aura, his overall presence would be very emphasizing. So he would be a very fortunate person. Whatever goals he sets for his life, he will accomplish them. Whatever, and if, because this is also the house of perceptor, so in case he is finding it difficult to overcome those goals in life, he will find people who will help him up definitely to achieve his goals. So this person becomes an overall successful person. He will have success in most of his fields, most of his goals will be accomplished. He becomes really very fortunate, he becomes wealthy, he possessor of vehicles. If he is a professional, then he would be doing really great in his profession. If he is a businessman or if he is doing a job, he would be really doing it great. And definitely he would be in touch, because this is the one of the best houses of the horoscope. So he will be in touch of people who have a lot of influence in the society, and he himself would be himself would be taking part in those activities. So the 9th house really works great for the Ascendant Lord, if the Ascendant Lord is in the 9th. Now what happens when the Ascendant Lord goes to the 10th house? Alright, now 10th house is one of the strongest kendras. Now this is also an Upchaya house, the house of growth, as I have mentioned in the category of houses. When the Ascendant Lord goes to the 10th, now this house represents your father, this house represents your karma, this house represents your status in society, this house represents your profession. So the native will always be eager to achieve, make his own, he will always work on his status in society. He will always try to create his space, his environment in the society, so that he can always be recognized for it. So definitely there will be recognition by a lot of higher people in his own circle, if he's in a job, then definitely his bosses would praise him. If he is in a profession, he would be recognized for it. If he is in a business, then he would definitely be doing really great in that business, because this makes the native always eager towards making his own space in the society, establishing himself in the society. So because this is the house of father, so natives will have a really interpersonal special relationship with his father. And because 10th house is also karma, this house is one of the most powerful kendras and upchaya bhavas. So native will always be eager towards making him grow in whatever field. In his life, he will always try to aim higher, and he will always achieve those goals as well. So this makes the native's personality really outshine others, and he'll outshine others. He will always achieve in his goals. He will be doing really well in his profession. But if there are bad influences of bad planets, then yes, there will always be troubles, there will always be problems in achieving those goals, and the good effects of all this good effects from these houses will be hampered. Now we would be looking at what happens when Ascendant Lord is in the 11th house. Now 11th house is your house of growth. This house is the most powerful houses in the category of houses of growth. The 11th house. Now 11th house represents your finances, it represents your desires, it represents your friends. So native will be getting all the good effect of these houses. He will be eager towards enhancing his wealth. He will always be working towards gaining more income. He will be quite social with his friends. He will be having a lot of friends and desires. Yes, since the Ascendant Lord is in the 11th house, native will always fulfill his desires. He will be always able to fulfill his desires. But if there is malefic influence on this house, then for a while he may get stuck with that. He may not be able to experience all the good effects of this house. But in general, native will always be working towards the goal which improves his financial stability. Because the Ascendant Lord is also aspecting the 7th house right opposite to it, I have discussed the aspects of planets. So kindly refer to that episode. So this house also represents intelligence. So native will be very sharp-minded. He will be very witty. He will be having a very good, he would be a very good thinker. And because this house represents finances, he would be very good in economics. He would be keeping up with economics either as a subject or otherwise he would be really well with the economic stuff. The economic literature, he would be studying that. He would be by birth or naturally he could be really great in the economics. So these are the general effects of what happens when the Ascendant Lord is posited in the 11th house. Now we would be discussing the last house, the 12th house. Now what happens when the Ascendant Lord is posited in one of the evil houses, bad houses, the 12th house. Now 12th house represents your foreign travels, it represents hospitalization, it represents your jail, it represents your expenditures in life. So basically there will be dislocation to the native at times. He might leave the place of birth, or at some point of time in his life he may have to leave his own house, either for educational purposes or otherwise. This house is the house of expenditure, so native would be definitely spending a lot. We can call that he would be a spendthrift. He may have to feel the burnt of the 12th house. At times there will be a lot of troubles for the native. At times he would be getting, he may have to face failures in his life. He may fail in his ventures. His decisions may not come as fruitful as he may think. So in general, when the Ascendant Lord goes to the 12th, he may also have to travel to foreign lands to make his living, to keep his survival. He may have to travel far away from his home, either for the education or for a job or for a business. He may have to travel very far from his place of birth. So these are the general effects of the 12 houses. If good planets are aspecting the 12th house, if benefic planets are involved, then good results will be experienced. But if malefic planets are involved, then definitely bad results will be experienced when Ascendant Lord is posited in the 12th house. So these are the general effects of the Ascendant posited from 7th house up till the 12th house. I hope you like my video. Kindly leave your special comments in the comment section, and if you want to mail me, you can mail me at Vedic Astrology Guru 7 @gmail.com.